Hello? I overslept. Anywho, I think you guys are gonna have to get comfortable with this because I don't feel like putting on this. But, Alright. So, yes, I overslept. I put that in the description. I know. But, I'm awake now. Alright, so it starts. What is the date I thought last night? I stayed up late thinking back on the lore. So, I don't remember what year I thought it should be. We'll go 2004. So, in 2004, Eon is born. For over the 4 years, he's raised properly, blah blah blah. When he is 5, he wanders out on his own, with the permission of his parents, of course, and he stumbles into an alleyway with a man in the end. No, um, I'm reading chat. I'm not to know. But, um, I'm gonna say this now. I don't think that. Actually, I forgot to set something up. But, um, yeah. Hold on. I think I should just keep explaining. So, at the end of the hallway, or corridor, whatever, it's a dark alleyway, whatever you want to call it, you can call it that. But, uh, but, um, at the end is Alejandre, which, if you're curious on how to say that, Alejandre, Dre, Dre, Alejandre, Alan. It's it's a strange name, absolutely. But I came up with it to make sure that no one has a similar name to it. Uh, Anyhow, I figured something like that would help because we need an introduction to an enemy. Why not? But I should probably explain this real quick. When I did Gotcha for a while, I'm not planning on doing any more right now. But that was all just like tossed it out, get it out there. So I'm saying that's not canon. I'm gonna say that's all not canon. Don't worry. So if I do think something I made and that was canon, I'll include it as a normal just direction. But it's definitely not all canon in my eyes, which that says a lot. So ah! So after an encounter with Alejandre in an alleyway, he teleports away. He doesn't know what he saw, and he continues on his way. He's thinking about it for the rest of that time, and then he stumbles into a park. It's a area park. It's like a town park. It's public. So I think what I wanted originally with this was that he'd be walking through it, and he'd hear steps behind him. He'd turn around, and he gets half his soul taken away. Because the thing with Alan is that he takes half the soul and then just he takes half the soul and then he makes it what they'll hate. which is essentially what the shadows are. And then just the thing being the thing with it being the way it is, with how he takes half the soul, is actually what I decided to do based off the book that I've been writing. So I should have my book because it has some it's all canon. So at this point, Eon decides to run away. He doesn't go back home for I think 5 days. So he's sitting in that alleyway that he's found the Alan Andre. I'm gonna call him Alan for now. But he found Alan at the end of there. And he notices on the last day that he's there, at the end of that corridor, at the other side he never went to, there's a little mask. So he fixes up and puts it on. And here we are. He grows to 6, and then 7 foot. Yeah, he's 7 foot too, with a mask on. Normally, he's just a young boy. He's about maybe 5 foot exactly, maybe and a half, maybe 5'1.5". He removes the mask and puts it somewhat on his head, but he's not wearing it properly, so it doesn't exactly get in the way. And what happens next, he meets Shadow. And I'm talking about Gem, but she changed her name to Shadow, and it still irks me that I have characters that are called Shadow, Eon, blah blah blah, and then she changed her name to Shadow, and it's just, come on. But he meets Shadow, the person thing. She's a robot, isn't she? Yeah. And we're going to do this lore stream from the eyes of Eon, so we'll go into how I think Gem and the rest go into place. But Eon meets Shadow. They get along well, but they don't exactly stay in the same area for long. They go ahead and split off for a while. And while he's split off from her, he finds a sword, and it's just a handle. So I can't really call it a sword. I'm yawning a lot. I am tired. I just woke up, and then I started streaming. So he looks around the sword handle, and he notices a button. So he presses it. A nice steel rod comes out. It's thin, but sharp. So it can definitely do something. But what's the point of that? Definitely. Definitely something needed is essentially just Hold on. Something needed is a design change on it. So he takes about a month to just decide something, and then he goes with it. We're gonna skip to when he was 8, because nothing too important happens between that. When he was 5, and, well, when he was 6 and 7. So we'll go to 8. When he's 8, he meets up with Shadow and runs into Kanari, or Esbjorn Inkling, as we probably know her. I don't know him. With I don't remember. Yeah. She's skeptical about Eon and Shadow, especially with Eon just carrying around a sword. Now, of course, they eventually convince her that they're not trying to kill people. Maybe. But if she'd tag along, she'd see what they're actually like. So she sticks around for the day, and then at the end she leaves to just entirely care about them. At all. Eon and Shadow go to wherever they're staying, and he goes. Eon, at this point, does go back to his house. He did when he was 7, but continuing on, a year goes by, nothing too interesting happens. Then Eon is 9. And he sees Shadow being attacked by Alan. Who would have known? So, he equips the sword. He changed it to have it be a leatherish kind of exterior on the handle, and extended the metal a little, and turned it blue. And when he rose it against Alan, like at the neck, he put it up against the neck, it changed itself. So now it is a blistering kind of aura beam, and it's honestly very long. So at this point, it's basically like an aura kind of aura slash. Why not? And he doesn't know what to think of it, so he just starts. He puts it back in Alan's neck again, turns it, and slashes down. It doesn't do anything to Alan. Rather, it just knocks him back. So, from this point, he just doesn't know what he's supposed to do. He tries touching it, nothing happens. He just goes through it. So, he's confused as to what the sword is, because it's not a sword he's ever seen before. So he keeps slashing at Alan because it does something to him. And he gets stopped by it. And the character that you all won't know, called Aliana, which happens to be, well, Allyana. Aliana. And she happens to be Alan Andre's sister. Yay! So something I haven't mentioned ever throughout this entire period of time is going to be explained a bit. When something happens, I'm not going to go too far into the lore because I don't want to spoil anything that's happening in a book. But we'll skip about 3 months. And I think that's as far as it goes, really. At this point, Eon has grown to about 6 foot. Maybe. So he's pretty tall. He's pretty tall for his age. He's 9. He's 9. Well, I never said a birthday, so I'm gonna say he's 10. So he's gonna be 10, which is not too far from my actual age, and I'm tall myself, so that's why I'm trying to make my character tall. He progressively stops growing, and then he starts being consistent with about 6'1". And in the following few days, I'm not gonna say any months or any of that because I'm gonna forget probably. But in all reality, I'm gonna say this now. I don't think that what he does next is very smart. Because he finds Shadow-Yon. Okay, let's explain this. So Shadow-Yon, we're not gonna go into his perspective for now. But he can physically come out of Eon. Now, this is when he can start coming out. Normally he's confined him within him. He can take control. Because he's kind of the strongest one, but not really. Because he could take control of Eon whenever he wanted, unlike the others. However, that came at a price. He couldn't stay in there for too long. Now, of course, he's a separate being, so he doesn't have to worry about any kind of tolls being paid. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave us at that, so I don't expose anything too bad, and then I suppose that's what we'll have to do. Alright, so we appear to be at a send-off because we are done. Have a good day, and I might do this again soon.